Um, for the right, we just got back from MegaCon 2026 in Waco. We learned quite a bit about the Fresh Farm Initiative that Commissioner Miller wants across have across Texas before long. There's not too many down here that have it, so that's something that we can
We're
go
gonna
look into.
for fresh farming and fresh produce.
And the Fresh Farm Initiative is basically, instead of us getting processed food, we get stuff from our local farmers around here and
Oh, that's nice.
come straight from the farm. And then there's also teaching methods for the kids and things like that as well. In this, they gave us each an arrow garden, and there is a chance that we can get some big arrow gardens to put up in the cafeteria so the kids can see the food growing. That was some of the things that happened the last couple of days. We're continuing the LTOs, which is limited time offers. It's once a month. For the high school, for the month of April, it's going to be the buffalo bacon cheddar. So
Buffalo, it's
there you go.
actually like a waffle, and they put chicken in it, and it has bacon and cheddar on there.
And they fold it up like a
So they fold it up like a taco, so that's something new. Yes.
All the managers at each campus has gotten with all the principals, and we've adjusted our menus and everything for the scheduling. We had in May upcoming, we have the School Lunch Hero Day on May 1st. That's the same. The next week is the Teachers Appreciation Day. I just got some stuff on here about what the School Lunch Hero Day is, and we're gonna have a bunch of little gifts and surprises to give to the elementary kids to pass out, but we need to get out. And then we got Miss Pat's contact down here at the bottom in case y'all have any ideas or anything, because she is working on next year's menus already. And
Yes, so do you have any idea of when we went to this conference, they were also trying to push a lot of scratch cooking.
yes.
So I'm trying to put into my menus for next year, a lot of scratch cooking, so that we don't have all this processing. So if you have any, yes, I have to get approval for certain recipes to see in them, but the sooner I can get any kind of information, I can look it up and it'll be easier for me to put it into next year's menu. So if we can have, if there's a way we can get students' feedback also, that would be also great, because it's our students that eat the food and we want to make sure that they're coming in.
How did your limited offer stuff go last
month was, we made 40 and all 41.
Okay.
So we're kind of looking at, we're only making 40, and we're also asking the kids, is it something you would like for next year's menu? And if they agree, then the ladies will tell me this was a hit. So I said, okay, this is a hit. One that is on every 5 weeks is the one that went good, was a bacon.
They call it a horseshoe burger?
No, the other one, that's the LTO. It was like a bacon cheeseburger, and it had some special sauce in it, and the kids really liked that one. So that one I repeated that one for every 5 weeks.
Okay.
So now what I'm doing is I'm looking back at the LTOs from previous month, and then I'm asking them, do you remember, we did 40, did you do all 40? Yes. Did they like it? Yes or no, or some didn't have any comments, but on a lot of them, yes, they were good. And a lot of them is because they have that spice. So a lot of them like that little kick at the end. So yes, and some of these will be on next year's menu.
And if people do have recipe ideas, where do they send them, or?
They can send them to me, and then I can get them approved by PDA to see if they can be put on the menu. Because due to like calorie counts, due to carbs, due to, does it have enough of the whole grain items in there? So
Cause I'm not like, I am not a cook, but so I do like really simple stuff. And there's this one that my kids love and it's sheet pan fajitas. And you just put some grilled chicken strips on a sheet pan along with some onions and bell peppers. And there's a little bit of paprika, so it's not real spicy. So like, and then throw in a tortilla with some cheese. And
yes, so that could be implemented in a wrap.
yeah.
They could put that in a wrap.
And then like,
And
I mean, I don't know if
like
Sam
that.
is going too crazy, but there's one, and again, sheet pan. It all goes in the same
Yes.
pan in the oven, and it's
Yes.
salmon and broccoli, and I can't remember what goes on it, but I've got the recipe at home. But whatever it is, like my kids will both eat that one too.
Yes, feel free to.
Yeah,
I did the same thing with chicken and we use like zucchini and squash.
Yeah.
yeah.
Throw it all on the pan.
So
and-
if y'all are doing more like stuff from scratch, I was like roasted vegetables, because I don't think kids know that they can taste good if they're, like.
Yeah, well, that is an issue we have with a lot of the menus is, and working with our
I don't know what your oven
employees.
space is, and
Working with our employees about seasoning things. There's a lot of other ways to season things other than adding salt.
right.
Exactly.
Yes. So then a lot of them, they follow recipes, so they don't want to put that initiative to say, let me taste it and see if it has a taste. Sometimes we can get recipes and it still has no taste. I have all the other ones that doesn't have the salt in it. You know, we have them there. All you have to do is say on your recipe, say, I add a fourth of a cup of this. I added an eighth of a cup of this to give it that flavor and, you know, and we'll get these kids in, because they don't want to just come and just plain whole grain, blah. You know, and then nothing but salt. You know, nothing that has soda in it. And it's like, oh. But if you add all the extra spices to it, it comes out really, really good.
And we're following the new guidelines and everything that are coming out. The commissioner talked about the new biplate and everything.
So we're gonna have
So
another.
we got a lot of stuff that may be still coming towards us.
Okay. Well, we will get started then with the portion of the SHAC meeting. Just going over old business that we promoted last 2 months in February and March. So February was our Big Card Awareness Month. We had Ms. Kosher's students do the blood pressure checks, and that was on February 13th. How was the turnout? Very good.
And we actually caught some kids that I told them, I think you should follow.
Wow,
We had about 3 or 4 that, especially like there was this one, he was just this bit, I even had to come back, check, like, I was like, did you just come from lunch? And, but we probably had at least 300 come through. So a lot of teachers brought their classes, so that's what's nice.
Awesome. A lot of kids, yeah. Okay, and then for March, we focused on basically nutrition, and we had our fruit club for ACEs. That was March 2nd through the 6th. We did that at our elementaries. And then National Nutrition Month, we celebrated. March, of course, was very scarce. We had spring break, and then we got out early, and then it was fair week, and so we fitted in the 23rd through the 26th. Into the Maya sessions, we sent a little My Plate coloring page so they could decorate what they thought their healthy plate would look like. And then of course we had, different options provided by the cafeteria during that week as well. For new business, for this month of April, I've already got some things that have gone out to campuses. One of them is on Autism Acceptance Month. So we did some statistics that were going to be read out through announcements for that, and then also just a flyer that lets them know, hey, April's Autism Acceptance Month. Also for this month is Child Abuse Prevention. Same thing. I sent out a flyer for that to be posted around our campuses, and then also statistics on child abuse that would be read out through announcements. So looking forward to our last month. I always love to do something to prepare the kids and staff for, of course, summer, and what things we would hit on that, which would be, safety with sun, safety with swim, and then hydration safety. So somewhere in May, I'll fit in. Usually I do it kind of all in a week. We'll just fit in, okay, have this announced about sun safety, some tips and things, and then swim and then hydration, and we'll fit that in toward the middle of May. Our next thing that we were going to discuss, but we really don't have any parents here, but I guess we can still discuss it, was just our head lice policy with school. I know there have been some, I guess, complaints, of course, from some parents that had brought up to the board that, you know, their kids are getting it or they're catching it, and it is very much a hassle when you do have to deal with that type of situation. What we look at, so per the Department of State Health Services, there is no law in Texas that says or addresses that the student must be excluded. So meaning that we have the authority to say, because your child has live lice, they need to be, like, they can't be at school. Now, we try to encourage the parent to pick them up and treat them right away. However, our policy, if we're following more toward the guidelines of the state, is not to forcibly exclude them. So most of the time, our parents will pick the child up, take care of it, treat them, and then bring them back. What? Well, most of them. There are some. So that's where it comes down to, you know, do we want to look at trying, because it is per a district, it is per your district, if you want to follow the not excluding, or if you want to, you know, go against it and have every child excluded. The problem is, you know, we do have some that it's a recurrent thing
all the time.
And I don't know, I know we've educated our parents. I know we give them a sheet that provides, you know, how to properly clean, how to properly disinfect. We cannot personally, as the nurse, give them treatment or prescribe them a treatment because it's not under our license. We can, you know, that sheet that we give them should say what treatments to do. But yes, it comes down to the ones that either can't miss work to come and pick them up. They don't have a ride to come and pick them up. They don't want to deal with it. That's what I'm thinking.
And I think a lot of it is the reoccurring ones.
Yeah.
Is where the parents of the students that are in those classes with the reoccurring,
Right.
is where, you know, the complaints are coming from.
Right.
And how are we holding parents accountable
Mm-hmm.
to being a parent?
Right.
You know,
So, yeah, so, I mean, when we had visited on this topic a couple of years ago, because we go through waves of, we talk about it, cools down, and we're back at it again. We thought that it would be best at the time not to forcibly exclude, because if maybe someone wanted to fight, well, state law says you can't send my child home or you can't exclude them. That was the reason behind us letting them stay if they had to. Like I said, I encourage all of my nurses to try to, in the nicest way, have the parent pick them up. We just can't say you have to come get them.
Right. We can't isolate them. We can't do anything.
Right.
To spray
Right.
anything and,
Yeah.
you know, just.
So I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on that. If we want to try, I mean, the no knit policies, which knits are the eggs, that's been gone. But is there something we want to look at trying to do with the ones that have live lice?
Well, when you call them, then they don't believe you.
Right.
And then I let them know the teacher was with me. I literally picked it up with my little tongue blade / popsicle stick and killed it.
And I think educating, so, you know, I've even had principals talk to me, what can we do at this campus? And I've told them, you know, definitely try to not encourage or promote the transfer. So they don't fly, They don't jump, they just crawl.
Yes, right.
So definitely I've told them, limit any type of sitting area, like no, bean bags or whatever in classrooms or the library or anywhere that a kid could sit down, put their head on it, sit for a little while and then get up and someone else comes. So, limiting those type of things, carpet time, let's limit that. I don't think maybe in kinder they have it. But anywhere that's going to promote them laying down on one surface, and then they can only live for 24 hours outside of, off the host. One thing that we talked about was maybe as far as where backpacks are stored, they may be too close because the backpack is always right along the, back of the hairline.
Yeah.
Maybe they're on the backpack
Yeah.
and then they're crawling to another backpack, and then before jackets in the wintertime, maybe that's something. So maybe trying to space those storage items out. We talked about, even maybe spraying essential oils in the room that might be beneficial and deter them. There's just all kind of things that we've talked about. It's just, like I said, I don't know on the ones that are recurring. I personally talked, are you in a split home? Is it something to where someone's treating at one home, but they're not treating at the other? So it can be a real hassle, and I understand the parents that are frustrated on the ones that don't normally have to deal with it, but they've may had to once or more than once this year. So I don't know if anyone has any.
I'm not opposed. You can't control a lot of things, right?
Right.
So, if your child comes home with it, it can happen. But it frustrates me on the reoccurring ones.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying all parents are like this, but I do know we have some that are like, they'll deal with it at school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they don't.
And we don't treat them like it's not our job to treat them.
And you can't, and their thing is, well, I'm just gonna keep sending them. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know if they're treating them or not. They can tell us they are, and may not be. And then as a
Yeah, I actually
result,
sniff it. I check the very next morning every single time, and I sniff their hair. You can tell if it's been treated, or if they've used tea tree oil, or they use the actual chemical. You can smell it.
Yeah.
And you can smell when they didn't do anything. Like everything's still there. The child's hair does not smell clean at all. And
Right.
It's sad. And it is the same parents over and over. And you tell them, well, I sleep with that child and the other kids aren't getting it. And I clean everything and blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I don't get them then. How come I'm not getting them? And you're like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. But,
I know. I would
it's frustrating.
like to see us do something to hold parents more accountable when it's a reoccurring situation.
Right.
Like maybe on the third time or the fourth time. I don't know.
I
we
know
say,
one of the
now we're going to
yeah,
exclude.
one of the
You know what I mean? Like,
principals
can we
was
do that?
asking, because I do feel like maybe some of the cases boil down to not having the money to purchase. I mean, it's not super expensive. I've looked at the knockoff brands at the store, and you can get like a little bottle for maybe $5.
Well, a lot of them are not using the actual lice treatment. They're not
Right.
using any
Right.
cleaners to kill it. They're just using
They
whatever
make
they have at home. Lots of them are
And
using the
really,
tea tree oil. That's it.
if you
And
if you take the time to actually go through section by section, you're probably going to get most of it and then wash the bedding. But once again, that's going to boil down to some time being taken for these parents. And they probably don't do that depending on how much hair the child has. So, I mean, all those things factor in and probably play a part in it. Like I said, we just would have to determine, okay, at what level, and then we need to be across the board if we're going to change something about it. And then what do you do? I mean, like I said, if you have one that you can't get a hold or they don't have a ride, then you can't just keep them in the nurse's office. So a lot of things factor in.
Or even if we can't send them home that day, if this is their third time in the last 4 weeks, like I got a kid that it was, February the 19th to the 25th, and it was right before spring break and then they went on spring break. Then she came back and it was the 25th of March and then now we have another, I have 4 times recurring on this one child in less than, 5 weeks. So the point is on those, if we say yes, after the second case, no, we can't make them come get them, but once they go home, please don't send them back until they are gone, like that there are no visible, and if they bring them with it, we expect them, as they're there, and then, if they still have the nits and the live blood, send them home.
Well, the nits, they can be. with
Well, yeah,
babies.
so, yeah, because the nits will die and they're having to comb it for several days, but, I don't know, I agree with if they have the recurring ones and they won't come get them right then, but at least tell them, don't bring them back until their hair is clear.
Right. Do you guys like, because so I have learned, because Brooklyn apparently is one of the ones that's susceptible, and now they're even studies showing that there's blood types that are more susceptible.
Yes, they are
And,
attracted to certain blood
this
types.
girl, if it's anywhere, she gets it. And if we go into Houston and we spend, I think it's $200 a pop, and it takes us over an hour, and insurance doesn't cover it. But we're clean, free and clear. And I think we've done that 7 times now. The lady actually said, "You've been here before, haven't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, you know us." It's the same time every year because it's after she does a certain activity. And, but just a lot of the stuff that they're telling us in that place is a lot of the treatment plans that we know of are kind of myths, that they don't really work. And I know a lot of the over-counter stuff that is cheap, it doesn't work at all. I don't know what the school has with resources. I know we're considered a Title I. I know a lot of times we can get the clinic to come over and give us discounts on physicals. Do you think any of those like lice clinic places would ever do any kind of discount voucher for a school? Could we get with one of them and be like, "Hey, here's this place
have
that
a
guarantees
place
Yeah, that would be a great idea if they would.
Leaves it.
if they pick
Yeah.
out
But the
every
way that, I would just think the amount that it costs a regular person, I don't. think
Well, that's
we'll
what I'm
be able
saying.
to
Is there
get
anything
close to what
they would
people
think
would be able to afford?
to do any kind of voucher program, or like, okay, y'all come down one day and everybody I mean, I don't know, because I just, you can have them buy the $5 thing. I don't think it'll work.
Well, I mean,
And-
there's prescription. We
Yeah.
we learned about one last summer at our nurse conference. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but once again, that's going to require them to go to the doctor
Yeah.
to get the prescription. And a lot of them,
Or maybe we could get with
the
a
insurance
doctor that
isn't
would write a
accepted, right, around
prescription for
here,
the-
or their Medicaid isn't accepted
Well,
at the
but-
clinic.
In the past, our community service liaison person, even though us, the nurses, don't get it or buy it or give it or dispense it to them, if they were struggling and they didn't have the money, then I would refer them to Ms.
Right.
Figueroa, who would then,
Which
know,
one of our principals was asking, could PTO take money and go and buy treatment and.
I was gonna say, or the
Yeah.
special shampoos,
Right.
the tea tree oil stuff does it, because we kept her a whole year. Like we
No, that's
sprayed her
good.
every
That's
day
good.
with that
yeah,
peppermint spray.
Mhm.
And, so, I mean, because we donate toothbrushes and socks and we do trash for that. Could we
no, I
do
know,
trash
exactly.
for-
Well, and you even had in your mix of stuff, you had a few bottles of the tea tree
Oh, did I?
shampoo, yes.
Okay.
So there was another child, not the one right now, but another child, she's 8th grade now. And thank God she didn't get any this year, but she was the recurring, like 6th, 7th grade, always recurring. I just kept sending the bottle. I mean, it's just shampoo. So I would send that up. So just use this, just try this. If it's gonna help, it's not gonna kill them, but it's gonna at least keep them at bay. And, I'm out of it now, but still, I mean, it's the best you can do.
So I don't know if we would have to have like a separate, or at the beginning of next year, there's no other parents to help
Yeah, it would have to
kind
be
of
before
vote
next
on
year.
or determine, and then we have to have, Bob's approval as far as what it's.
Well, from his perspective, it would be, what do we recommend
Right.
to them then? So,
But no lie, if they recur, if this is the second or third time and it's in the same school year, then that we tell them, not to come back until you can visibly
Yeah.
see that there's no live loss. I mean, but I don't know.
And like I said, we sent out a couple of years ago, all the information to staff to kind of let them know, because there were staff that were concerned about it.
Yes.
do you send, I know a parent letter goes home.
Mhm.
Is it with each case? Like
So
for your instance, the kid comes back 3
Yeah.
weeks later, we're doing it again.
So
Are you sending a
call.
letter again?
No, I just
or-
call.
So I think that was part of the concern too, is
Yeah.
that parents aren't being notified every time, possibly, that an
Right.
occurrence is happening in the classroom.
Oh, so are you
Yeah, they're
talking
being
about
notified, but I'm
so-
not doing the
so
letter every
other-
single time when it's recurring.
Yeah, so other elementary school parents do have to be notified if
Okay.
there's a case in the classroom.
Right.
Yes.
Each
The-
time though,
yes. Yes, they're supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, And then, of course, like at high school, we don't, because we've got them all over the place every different period, like we can send it to everybody.
Right.
So.
Right.
Well,
the
and that's the thing, the
elementary-
same thing in junior
Yeah.
high. It's okay if it's an isolated life skills child.
Yeah.
Right.
That's totally
Yeah.
doable. But when you have the 8 periods and they're all up,
Right.
yeah, that, what I do is I quietly notify the teacher. I have co-op gave out those big bottles of bio something spray that, whatever. I got cases, like I got like 5 cases of those last year and it kills pretty much everything. So I just hand those out to the teachers and tell them to quietly use that spray. Whenever the child leaves, spray it around, so that other kids that sit in the same spot don't get it,
Yeah, like I
That's all I
said,
can do.
to me, racking my brain, the only thing would be maybe I'd set the backpacks and the storage of coats.
Yeah.
Coats are just getting thrown somewhere and not.
Yeah,
having-
ours are they just throw
And
them by their,
then, I mean, the
desk.
slight possibility
they have them.
at recess going down a slide or something. I mean, and I think that'd be
Yeah.
very rare because.
Yeah, we don't have that, so.
But the only other thing I would say too, and I have noticed this at the elementaries, and I know we want to have fun things for the kids, but when I saw it, I thought right away, that's not a good idea with lice. Bounce houses.
What is it called?
Bounce
Oh,
houses.
bounce house,
I mean,
yeah.
they're bouncing in there, they're laying down, they're
Oh,
falling
yeah.
down. Yeah,
It's all over
so,
the
I
place.
mean, if that's something that needs to be put out maybe to some of the elementary campuses. I know y'all want to have fun things for the kiddos, but that's another thing to kind of, to look at. Be like, might not be a good
Oh,
idea.
right. I didn't know they
Just
had
have the
that.
last bit before summer and then they go off.
That's funny.
So anyways, yes, we'll talk more on this topic and try to get, something.
Especially
kind
if
of
the
recommended or.
Those are the
I
ones that
would
are.
think definitely, because there's several groups that do donations of all the supplies that kids need, like hygiene supplies. Can we add that to the list of the specific lice repellent shampoo and conditioner and the spray?
I mean, we-
Because it's not
we
a
possibly
prescription, so it'd be like
could,
giving
yes.
them shampoo, which we
Right,
do.
right.
We could
It
just
would just
specifically
be
add
that
this-
we can't hand it out.
Yeah, we the
Like,
nurses
us
can.
as the nurse can't have it and.
And so how do the kids get it?
The
Like,
community
because they-
liaison person
Oh,
can though.
Or the
They can.
principals,
Okay,
or it
yeah.
could be in the
Because I was gonna
office
say,
or
this is
something.
coming from the
Yeah, like
socks and
Yeah.
underwear and tampons and
Yeah.
all that. So it could just be one of those supplies.
Right. So, yeah, we can look into that. The only thing is those type of products generally do run a little bit more money. So, I don't know, and try about what kind of turnout we would get with it. So, but definitely
Maybe we could get the
PTO
concerned
money.
parents on board though, you
Right.
know, like, I mean,
Right.
help the community out. Let's snap this.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough when they change the law. I mean, there's a lot of people upset, a lot. I mean,
Well, like I said, it does open it up to say that, your district can, decide, but they kind of recommend, so let's not exclude the kids.
right. But if other people find out, then the kid gets embarrassed or, all these things that are isolating them or making them feel bad or terrible. And then, gosh, especially at our junior high level, that's such a dynamic, yeah. Fully, like, yeah. It's rough.
All right. Well, we'll pick back up on that topic. But this will conclude our SHAC meetings for this school year. And then we will get set to meet at the beginning of next school year, most likely in that September month. Thank y'all. Sounds good. Thank you.
And again, if nobody has plans Saturday, you want a chance to win $40,000. 8-7. All right, thanks, y'all. Thank you for lunch, as always.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you so much. I love those salads. I look forward to them.
too.